Yay.
Hi,
Hello.
how are you? Hi, everybody. It's Friday. And so happy Friday. It's Maria Quattrone with Remax and Be the Solution. And today I am here with my guest, Debra Trappen. And I just want to read a little bit about who Debra is so you know her background. She is such a fiery, special woman. We've met several years ago, and I've been inspired by her since meeting her. Immediately, I was drawn and attracted to Debra. So she's a sought-after strategist, a best-selling author. She's a podcaster, a professional keynote speaker, and a respected voice of women's empowerment movements. She's known for her signature truth wrapped in grace with a side of sass, moxie, and a fire way of communicating and engaging her beloved communities. And when she's not storming her next adventure, reading, writing, recording in her fire up studio, doing moxie from the stage, and I've seen you speak and you are fantastic.
Thank
You will find her walking her little pup Lizzie along water's edge, editing photos, watching sci-fi and 80s flicks, or traveling around and tasting wine with her husband and her besties. So, Debra, welcome today to Be the Solution. Thank you so much for taking time out today to share with us.
I am so excited to be here. Thank you for the invite. I always love chatting with you, Maria.
My pleasure. I'm really excited to do this today. So let me start first, by asking you how are you doing, and how is your family doing with this situation? I hate to say the P word, so I'm going to call it the situation that we're all in.
The situation, the great pause. I'm doing wonderfully. I was born for a time like this, for a season like this, for moments like this. I have an amazing husband who is super supportive of the work that I do. And as you know, Maria, I've been working from a home office since 2012. So I've been in training for this a long time. The last, I'd say 4 weeks or so have really been filled with conversations with people who are trying to get it figured out. And so I was able to go immediately into service mode, which, as we all know, that when there is fear or uncertainty, if we can serve others, it really does quell that. And so I was blessed to be able to really flip right into that. My husband's doing well. Miss Lizzie is doing well. I don't think she's tired of all the walks quite yet, but I think that I'm getting a little side eye at like the third or fourth walk during the day where she's like, are we really going outside again?
Mom, really? I need to take my naps.
Yes, I know, exactly. Like, whose life is this? My parents are healthy down in California. All of my siblings are healthy. My father-in-law is healthy. My sister-in-law and nieces, everyone in California is doing well. So we're really blessed. I'm in the original vortex of COVID-19 here in the Seattle area. And so we've been doing this for a long time. We're used to it now. We are pretty used to this new way of living.
Are you still stay at home? Is that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And we will be. I'm guessing. Our Inslee, that's our governor. He is a bit more on the conservative side of all of the decisions that he's making, which I really do appreciate. He wants people to feel like they have their innate freedoms, but he's also doing his best to protect those who need the protection, the folks who are at higher risk. And we had some issues at first, with groups of young people kind of hanging out in parking lots and scaring the elderly who were just trying to get their groceries safely.
Right.
But most of that is kind of chilled out at this point. I think, again, everyone's realizing this isn't a joke. This is real. And we need to take it seriously. So we're in our flow. We're in our flow. Not to say that that the extreme extroverts aren't like bouncing off of their walls, but I'm blessed to be an ambivert, right? And I lean towards I enjoy quiet time. I love myself, right? I love to be with myself. I love to hear my advice. so, it's like, I don't mind being by myself in my office. And there are a lot of people who haven't gotten to that point yet, right? They haven't done the work to get to know who they are. They don't really understand why they're feeling out of alignment because they haven't defined their core values. They're not spending time doing things that actually fill their soul tank. They're doing things that other people online are saying, oh, I'm doing this and feel better. So they're still searching. And I think that a lot of the angst out there is related to that.
It's interesting. So as you know, I'm a real estate broker here in Philadelphia, and all day long, I run around with clients, mainly listing appointments, or business meetings with maybe a builder or developer, or lunch, coffee, dinner, drinks, networking events. And so when we originally got the order that there was no more working, which was on March 19th, I didn't have a home office set up. I had an office, but I never ever used it because I actually went to my office, which is 5 blocks from my house. Walk there. And I thought that I would be, I was really horrified by it. And I thought it would be terrible, but I've actually enjoyed working from home. It's quiet. I can get a lot more work done. I'm focused. I'm able to listen better. I'm doing more things that I feel are more better for my soul, for my being. Yeah. And I'm not coming home from the office aggravated. It's been, look, and I'm not, Debra, I'm not even saying like, it's not hard, meaning like we're not essential in PA, so nobody can go out and show a home, which means as listing broker, that means the sales staff of all of the agents can't show our listings, right?
Right.
So that's a stress in itself. And yes, is that terrible and all those things? But I still have a peace that has come. So I kind of want to step back for a second. You were in real estate back in 2002?
Yep, I got my license in 2002, and I was a licensed real estate agent even while I was working on the corporate side of things. And so I was doing all of the things that agents do, whether it was myself on the streets, boots on myself, or, teaching, training, recruiting, and loving on agents for, well over a decade in a brand. And then in 2012, when I decided to open my own practice, I put my license back. It was like, I know I'm not going to sell real estate again. But so it's 18 years now in this beloved industry. And I will tell you, Maria, this is how I know this industry is a divine calling for me, because I have tried to leave it. But it is like this relationship, this relentless, beautiful relationship that I have with this industry. And I'm so thankful that I stuck with it, because now in this season, this is, again, all of the work that I've been working with people over the last 8 years with D11, with the Fire Up Your Moxie content, those are the people who are feeling more peace. Those are the people who are stepping back and thinking, my business was taking over my life and I didn't realize it. And I'm so thankful for this pause. They're not screaming and yelling and fighting and crying. That doesn't mean that they're not going through pain. Some people weren't set up financially to be paying their bills. And that's a separate category. That's the money category. And, we don't want to touch that. Right. But the soul stuff, the who I am and whose I am, and where I was going, for most people, when they answer that question, wasn't where they really wanted to be going anymore. They were tired, I remember, I feel like it was maybe 2017, maybe 2016. I was having a conversation with a colleague at Inman, New York. And he looked at me, he's like, you have officially become anti-hustle. And just the way he said it was kind of like, what's wrong with you? It was like, why aren't you chasing? And I said, I was created to live in abundance, and hustle to me is about scarcity. Hustle to me is about not ever having enough and always seeking more. And we started to really glorify it in our country. And I think that is something that people are taking a step back with. And I'll tell you, it's been really interesting to even watch some of the men in, not in the real estate space, but kind of in the I don't want to mention any names, but we all know who I'm going to be talking about, the people who are dropping F-bombs all the time, wearing crazy shoes and working 50 hours a day and telling the world, like, what's wrong with you? Get on it. Like, I'm going to take over your space. They're now talking about things like self-talk and being positive. And they've shifted even their message into their communities. It's like, yes. It's like, yay.
Finally, right?
So happy to see it. I mean, I truly, I believe that if we take this time and do the work that we haven't done on ourselves, that we will be able to filter appropriately what we let back in to our lives on the other side, right? When the pause button is released and we move forward, what will you take with you and what will you leave behind?
Yeah, it's really important. And you said about hustle. The hustle is now replaced with being in flow.
Yeah.
Right. So how do we become in flow? How do people, Debra, that don't know anything about, how do they figure out even what their core values are? Because we were talking just before, you said most people know what they are for their business, but how do people sit down and really determine what that means?
Well, it's work, right? And to me, it's a divine style of work because you're really getting to know yourself, right? I remember probably about 6 months after I started doing recruiting of agents in real estate, I started to see this pattern of when people would get into real estate, I would say, so tell me why you want to get into real estate. And they'd say things like, I love people and I love houses. I mean,
very common.
Almost
very common.
100% of the time, right? Like, yep. I love people and I love houses. I love watching HGTV. Like these are the answers I would get. And I would think, this is really interesting because yes, there are people and there are houses in real estate, but there are also lots of contracts and lots of late nights. There isn't as much flexibility as everyone thinks there is when you're in relationship with a client. And so I would have these, kind of like flip the conversation. Okay, so what is it that you love about people? Okay, so what is it that you love about houses? What is it that you believe real estate to be? And what would shake out of those conversations is they really loved building relationship, or they loved to show people their community, right? They wanted to get people connected in their community. And those are value words, right? People and houses are not value words, but loving, creating relationship with people, loving, helping future generations, loving people build financial stability and wealth. These are things that are directly related to values. And so I started doing research even back then, even when I was still working inside my brokerage. And I found this group that actually helps people define their values. And here's the interesting thing about bringing it all the way back to when I started in real estate. So here I'm seeing all these people say, oh my gosh, I love people, I love houses, I want to get in. But I was reflecting back in 2002 when I found my very first life coach who took me through my personal core value exercise. And so all of these little red threads were starting to connect in, 2008. And then what happened at the end of 2008? Mm-hmm. The world actually had a major crisis of finances, right? We're in a health issue here. We've got a health problem that is bleeding into our economy. We went in with a housing crisis. We're going to come out with a housing crisis, right? We need inventory in most places. So those issues are still going to be there when we get back. However, the values work, when I went through the values work as an agent, I realized a lot of things about myself and my business were out of alignment. This is a great example. So a lot of people, when they're young, they get into real estate, and everyone thinks, oh, they're young, they should work with first-time home buyers because they look like them, right? And that's what happened to me. I got in my late 20s and my broker was like, oh my gosh, you're going to love working with first-time home buyers. You know how to use, back then it was a Palm, Palm Trio phones. Remember those? Look, she has a fancy phone. It's not a flip phone. Oh, she's going to love these people. She's going to love it. I'm in Microsoft territory. I'll be able to talk the talk. And in 6 months, I was exhausted. And I was exhausted because I was out of alignment with my values in my business. I valued things like aesthetics and mastery and efficiency. And let's just be real. When you're dealing with first-time home buyers, you're looking at not so beautiful properties. You're answering questions over and over and over again, which is the antithesis of efficiency. And they don't understand the process. So there's a lot of kind of remedial teaching in the beginning. And that wasn't my space. That wasn't where I wanted to dig into the deeper questions, not the surface questions, right? And so when I started shifting my business into working with relocation clients and luxury clients, I realized that's where my pocket was because it was aligned with my values. And so when I started D11, I actually created one of the very first kind of downloads that I offered in my business was a core values exercise because like everyone in real estate needs to go through a core values exercise. And the website's still up. The download page is still up. So anybody, you can go to debratrappen.com/values exercise and download it. Go for it. We'll drop the link after the show as well, but that's it. Start there. Go through that process. It's such a beautiful, beautiful self-discovery process.
How long does it take them?
Well, that
10
depends.
minutes or 10 hours?
No, well, it doesn't take 10 hours. I mean, unless you really have trouble making decisions, it's not going to take you that long. There's a page worth of work, a page worth of words. And basically the process is, I always tell people, start it in the morning, grab your coffee or your tea, look at the list, put like little hex marks next to things like, I like this word. That word isn't it. You can, do crossing out of the words that don't fit. And then you'll just break it down to your top 11. And then the process is from those 11, I want you to put those in priority so that you really, what the core of your values are, these 11 words that you want to make your decisions with and by. But the prioritizing helps you see where your top 5 are. And that's really where the bulk of your decisions are made. If you really truly value faith and family and adventure and organization, you probably could look at your calendar and see the events and the days that you love most are the days like Sunday where you're at church with your family and you're meeting for brunch afterwards. And then you go home and you organize your coat closet. Like that's a great day for somebody who values those things. Top it off with a hike in nature and it's the best day ever for you. And so that's the beauty of defining your core values is you start to see the days where I'm living and honoring them are my best days. Those are the days that even if I've served 100 people meals, even if I have been running all over town, even if I have been doing and going, I still feel amazing at the end of the day. I feel like today I conquered the world. Today I tamed my tenacious space. And so when you do that work, when you take the time to figure out those words and then prioritize them and live by them for a little while, make sure you got the right words, it makes the process of getting up every morning even more exciting. It makes the process of making decisions even clearer. It makes your best yeses so exciting and your confident no's strong and bold and focused and values-based, right? Values-based. It's such a beautiful way to walk the planet.
So how does somebody right now, Deborah, people, even though they are home, I talk to a lot of people, and I'm sure you have, they're working a lot.
Yeah.
How do they not get burned out from working around the clock? Because we all know that we have to work a lot. I'd say harder or more right now to keep it all together, especially in the real estate arena, right? Because we're talking with more people. We are solution based. So the conversations may have been 10 minutes before.
Yes.
You could be on the phone with somebody for 45 minutes.
Well,
and because people want to, so by the end of the day, right, you see burnout.
Yeah.
And this should be a time where you can rejuvenate yourself. So like, what are some of the things that people can do to be protective and take action in a positive way that will still allow them to do the work that they need, not get burned out from literally sitting on Zoom all day long?
Yes.
Because I've talked to a lot of people and they're pretty much getting zoomed out.
Yeah. Well, and this is a conversation, Maria, that I've had over and over and over again, right? That people who are extreme extroverts or who are high D, high driver, high people, and they all went immediately to spending all day on Zoom because they were like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be so bored out of my mind because I don't have anyone to talk to. And now they're realizing and experiencing the fatigue of sitting all day, looking at a screen all day, likely not eating well all day, because their breaks are, I need to tinkle real quick and let the dog tinkle, and then I'm coming back because I got another one. So there are some ways and some things that, surprise, surprise, will be values based, some ways that you can shake up what you're doing on a daily basis. The first is shake up where you're working. So if you are in a business like real estate and you are in a space where you're doing a lot of Zooms, have a space set up specifically to do your Zooms. So in other words, don't do it at the same desk where you do all of your other things. Create a space where you can go. I actually use a ladder and move the ladder, because the ladder is the perfect height. You know, the little shelf where you put your paint and stuff. That's a perfect place to put your laptop. But shake it up. Create different spaces. The seasons are changing. I'm seeing people go outside and do their Zooms outside. So shake up where you do things. Have a Zoom location, have a place where you're doing your computer work, and then also have a place where you're going and reading a physical book.
So you're saying change of scenery.
Change of scenery, even inside your home.
Interesting. I've not done that. I am in the same spot.
Yep. Going on 4 weeks, by the way, in the same spot.
Yes, except for the happy hours in the evening, our virtual ones, downstairs on my husband's laptop. Yeah. So we can be downstairs, because I'm on a PC with 2 screens. I used to have 3.
Yeah.
The other one's still at the office. There's no room for 3 here.
Yeah.
So I've made do with 2. When you're used to having 3 and you go to 2, it's a little bit of a change. Well, anyway, I've been sitting in the same spot.
Yeah.
And I literally noticed that I have to I'm now getting up more, like every 30 minutes, because my back and hips were killing me.
Yeah. So that's the other thing. So if you we're all collectively now going to go to our garages and get the ladders out, because the beauty of the ladder also is that you can stand at your computer with it as well. Right. So you can move it around, or, get a couple shoe boxes and put your laptop on your kitchen counter. It is about moving around. I have a spot on my couch that is perfectly prepared for my beverage to be literally just, reach over, grab it from the table, right? The plug is in the right spot. everything set up for me to go down there, plop down, whether I'm, writing so I'm working on my next book. So doing the organization of that and sending it back and forth. I want that to be in a different space than where I'm doing Zoom calls or, Facebook Lives like this. Even inside my office, I do a show every week with Molly McKinley that is more like breathing techniques, and she does guided meditation. We talk about things like self-talk and being, consciously productive, right? Not hustle productive, but consciously and intentionally productive. And I have a little spot on the couch in my office that has, a clear wall behind me because the topics, it doesn't need all of the, the wild redhead stuff behind me. It can be in a calmer spot. And so it helps me also, right? It helps me move around. I sit on the couch differently than I sit on this chair, different than I stand at the ladder when I'm at the computer. And so if you shake it up, if you can shake it up, and if you've got kids and you're thinking there's no way, give the kids different locations too. Give the kids different spots where they're doing things as well. So you're all kind of shuffling around the spaces, and then no one's getting bored with sitting in the same room, doing the same thing every single day. And you're also kind of forcing yourself to get up. You did mention something that like you're getting up every 30 minutes or so. There's a couple of really great apps. There's one that I don't know, are you Apple or are you
Android?
Your Android. So I'm sure there's one that is like this as well, but there's, I think Focus does the same. It has an Android. It's called Focus to Do. I'll drop that. I'm trying to keep notes of what, what I'm sharing here. So the Focus to Do app is great because it keeps you focused for 25 minutes and then you have a 5-minute break. And so when people first hear that, they're like, 25 minutes, what am I going to get? That's going to break my day up. It actually is. I get more done in 4 hours using those 25 and 5 moments. It's called a Pomodoro technique is what the name of the first person who created it is. But it's 25 minutes. Yeah. The Pomodoro technique.
I never heard of that before. I heard 50 minutes. You should time block in 50-minute increments.
Yeah, no, not anymore.
10 minutes.
Yeah, not anymore. Think about that. Like we have the attention span of 8 minutes. Of a gnat. Yeah, exactly. Smaller than a goldfish attention, right? I mean, that's what they're literally saying. We have a shorter attention span than a goldfish. And so the beauty of the Pomodoro technique or this Focus to Do app is that you say, all right, what are the things I need to get done today? And how am I going to accomplish those? In what order do I need to accomplish those? And so say one thing for me is I need to get 2 more chapters done in the book. Then I set the timer, and for 25 minutes, I'm focused only on that. I'm not checking email. I'm not looking at notifications. I'm not getting up to go to the bathroom. I can hold it for 10 or 15 minutes. Sure. I'm not going to get another cup of coffee. I'm not I can drink while I'm doing it. I can sip my coffee for crying out loud, but I'm not moving from the space. And then it makes this beautiful, this beautiful sound. And then I hit the 5 minutes. And for 5 minutes, I do yoga stretches. I go downstairs, I get the coffee, I tinkle, whatever needs to happen in that 5 minutes. And I have it set up that it does this little rooster call, like to like, let me know, like it's time to get back. And then I come back into my space, wherever that space is. I hit the 25 minutes again and I focus. And here's the thing is, more than ever, to those of you who are watching live, listening to the replay, listening to the podcast, you must create a difference between your work life and your home life in this season. And when you use an app like this, you are giving yourself for these 25 minutes, I'm work, I'm focused. You get through your work faster so that your day ends sooner and you can get to living and being with the people who matter most to you, your spouse, your kids, and hopefully they're feeling more productive, more focused, and they've gotten the things they needed to get done during their 25 and 5s throughout the day as well. For kids who have attention deficit and whether they're, they've been, what do you call that? They've been diagnosed with ADD or ADHD. It is a great app to work with them as well, because it gives them hope of something different is coming. And so it really does help keep you organized throughout the day. And then you have a stop time. You stop at 5 o'clock. You can't work 10, 12, 14 hours when you're working from home. You can't do it, or you will burn out. And let's be real, real estate doesn't need to go 12 hours a day. Like it doesn't. It really doesn't. It does not need to go that. There will be clients to talk to tomorrow. There will be title companies and mortgage companies and lawyers, and everyone else needs to be with their family too. And so I think that that's one of the beautiful changes that will come from the great pause, that when we hit the play button again, we're going to realize, geez, we don't need to work until 10 o'clock at night. We actually can stop our days, have dinner with our families, have some, puzzle time or game time or reading time or devotion time, and actually experience our family, experience the people that we say matter most to us and why we're working all day. We actually know them now. We're getting to know them now. And so we'll want to spend more time with them. Hopefully we'll want to spend more time with them.
How many times do you think you could use the Pomodoro technique a day?
Think about it. So
rational?
Two Pomodoros is an hour, right? Because it's 25 and 5. Mm-hmm. So that's 2 Pomodoros in an hour. And so you can do it you can do 16 of them a day. I mean, if you want to work 8 hours a day. But the reality is, and there's a lot of conversations around this, around people feeling shame that they're getting their work done in 5 hours now that used to take them 9 hours in the office. And so I say to those people, like, shake off the shame. The reality is you've been living in a world of disruption, and not the cool real estate tech disruption space. I mean, like, you have constantly been disrupted in your day, like, and through interruption, through pure distraction. Yeah. Got a minute? Got to pick your brain. Hey, we don't have that right now. And so I think that what I would love to see, let's just say that I would love to see people taking more time to do work from home more often, so that their time in person with other people isn't necessarily spent looking at a computer and doing things. It is, we're going to come into the office, on Wednesdays and collaborate. We're going to solve problems together. We're going to have some food together. But the other days, we're going to be focused and getting things done, so that we're still building relationship, but we're not killing ourselves with these long days, these long weeks where we're really not doing much. We feel busy, but we're not getting lots of stuff done because we're getting interrupted and we're being disrupted all day long. And so if you think about what you were saying earlier, like, wow, you've basically been home for a month, and you're calmer. Your relationship with your husband is probably calmer. And because you're not coming home, filled with fire and from somebody who's like really been poking at you all day. Right. And so, we can create calmer homes, deeper relationships with our spouses, calmer relationships, and more connected relationships with our children. And if we can hold on to that, Maria, I really think that a lot of the issues that we've been seeing with violence and all of that will shift, because we actually are spending time with our families. We're actually creating deeper connections and deeper relationships. For far too long, we've been not spending time with our family in the name of making money for our family. And we're realizing, we don't really need that. We don't, what can we live without? And what do we really want more of? So hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, I think that one of the things we forget is that what's most important to us is usually on the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to what we started to talk about in the beginning, right? Of what are the core values and what does that mean? So if it's family first, God, family, whatever it is for you, the universe, then we have to make that commitment to it. And one of the things that I've noticed is that I'm able to be more present.
It's so good.
With my husband, because I'm not constantly on the phone in the evening. Whereas before, I literally would walk down the street 5 blocks from the office, walk in the door at 7:15, eat dinner between 7:30 and 7:45, eat, get back online again, look at the emails again, look at the Slack, look at the Facebook Messenger, look at the text messages. For what?
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly it, Maria. For what? Right? I think that we were filling our emptiness with work. We were feeling this need to feel like we were doing something. We were hustling. We were making it happen when we were hustling and making it happen in the wrong bucket. We were everything's like work had become a worship space. We spend more time at work doing work than we spend time on the things, again, that we value, right? And so for some people, their work is directly related to their core values. For instance, that's mine, right? My work is directly and 100% aligned with my core values. And so my day, I had to learn how to stop because it felt good. Work felt good. It wasn't like I was chasing. It was like, oh, this feels so good to help people. Oh my goodness. Like one more call, one more text, one more, Facebook post of whatever it was. And when I looked up and realized my husband was like, are you on your phone again? I was like, this is ridiculous. Like the person that God put me with on this planet, this person that I'm so blessed to share a life with, is looking at me going like, who are you talking to? Because it's not me and I'm right here. And like that was a wake-up call, and it still is a wake-up call. I'm not perfect at it. But I think that when you can come back to your core values and say, if I am prioritizing, like you said, faith, family, and adventure, where is faith, family, and adventure in your everyday going forward? Who do you want to be on the other side of the great pause? Who do you want to be on the other side of this time of balance and equalizing? And do you want to go back to who you were before? If you loved it, if you loved everything, you had things figured out, great, good for you. Help other people figure it out. Like when you have it figured out, that your calling is to then help others figure it out, because there are a lot of people out there who do not want to go back to how they were, who don't want to start their businesses up like they did before. They want to do it differently. And so I think that, conversations like this, Maria, are so important. Yeah, it is you. I can see it. I mean, I can feel it in the words that you're using. Like you now that you've tasted it, now that you tasted what it feels like to be more connected to who you are, how you're feeling more connected. I loved when you were saying earlier in the green room that you and your husband are, lighting candles at night and having dinner at the dining room table. Like these are experiences that we have somehow in our world now shifted to it being only on special occasions that we sit at the table.
Special occasion is every day because we woke up.
Yeah.
And we have today. I'm of the mindset that we have today to be the best human we can. Yeah. And guess what? I'm not perfect. Sometimes I'm terrible. I'm a terrible human. I make mistakes. I say the wrong things. I, put my foot in my mouth. But at the end of the day, I think, it's about getting up and really trying to do your best. And I I don't want to go back to the way I worked before. People are getting more done in less time, because if you think about it, say you're in sales, and ironically, I did 50% of my listing appointments on the phone because clients are not here, they're out of town, whatever. But to say you're in sales and you're traveling through the city, which in Philadelphia, cranes everywhere, everything, potholes everywhere. Every time you drove down one street, there was a barrier, and what should have taken 10 minutes would take you 30. So now we're in the car. You're in an Uber or a car for 30 minutes. Yeah. You get there. That's like an hour-ish, depending. Say it's lunch, could be an hour and a half. And then you got to get back. Yeah. So now, what did I accomplish in 2 hours and 15 minutes?
Yeah. I mean, this is the line of questions that I want everyone to be asking themselves, Maria. It's like, why am I doing this? Why am I saying yes to this? One of the, in my fire workshop, there is this exercise where you go through and you pull out your calendar and you pull out your core values list. And if there are not at least 3 values honored in that appointment, you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And because in real estate in particular, there's a lot of FOMO. There's a lot of that means fear of missing out, for those of you who don't know that term. And because like, if I don't go to that event, if I don't say yes to that party, if I don't say yes to that, and it could be like a Tupperware party or a Pampered Chef party or a nail jamberry party or whatever it is, right? Like if I say no, 1, I might hurt someone's feelings, and 2, I might miss out on a potential client. But the reality is if you look at your client base and you're looking to focus on a particular type of client, and your niche is not even remotely related to that networking opportunity, to that party, that your past clients are going to be there, there will be no future clients, and you have no desire to buy anything that's in there, then say no. Supporting friends is also about creating space for the people who are meant to be in the room with them, and not taking up space that's someone else's. And we have to learn that. And I think that now we can learn that. We can learn that my best yes and my confident no is the opposite of someone else's. And so when I say no to something that isn't aligned to my core values, that doesn't directly relate to a goal I've set for myself or my business, that when I say no, someone else who's been waiting for that opportunity gets to give their best yes, because I didn't selfishly take it because I was scared I was going to hurt someone's feelings or I was going to miss out on something that ultimately I know deep down in my gut is a false sense of fear, because who I want to spend time with is not going to be in that room. And we're learning that we don't need to spend time with everyone. That's the beauty of niching in real estate, or niching, for those of you who say niche. It's the beautiful side of niching, right? Because you can get to make clearer decisions, Maria. Yeah, and there are ways where you find such comfort when you know who you are based on that foundation of your values, your North Star. In the last couple of years, I started calling it your confidence compass. Right? When you know what your values are, doesn't it feel good, right? Like I have a confidence compass and it says 11 words. And so if we don't take the time to figure out what we want, all of the things will come back. And I think that you could take some time now, and your team could take some time now to say, like, what are the things that we want to be doing in person together? Like, what are the things that we really miss that doing it over Zoom it's okay. However, it would be better if we were sitting next to each other and doing this over a meal, or sitting around a table and with a whiteboard in front of us. Like, what are the things that are absolutely non-negotiable? We want to do these things in person. And then what are the meetings that really didn't need to be meetings in person? What are those things that you could do that are on Zoom? And I'll tell you, you've probably experienced this, but the ability to kind of control the Zoom room is much easier than it is in person, because you can say, Maria, tell me, and then everyone knows to look at Maria's square. And so you can really truly direct the conversation in a Zoom room if you do a few small little tweaks so that everyone's not talking. You can throw it to each other, right? It's like a beach ball. Boop. Maria, now your turn. Okay, come back to Debra. What is Debra? What is Harold's question? What's Barb's question over here? And so you have the ability to be more efficient even with your meetings when you're using virtual. So start doing that. What would our ideal week be as a team? What days do we want to get together? What days work for everyone to get together? And start dreaming of what that's going to be like. That will also help lift a little bit of the gloom and doom that you're feeling and get you excited for the other side of this. And no, it's not going to be like it was before. We are fundamentally changed. We are fundamentally changed as a human race with this. And whether people want to use it as an opportunity, whether people want to learn the lessons from it or not, it doesn't matter, because there's something that's fundamentally, we have shifted. And I know for me that part of the conversations and the people that I'm going to be bringing with me on the other side of the great pause are the people who honor and respect that, who have no desire to go back to what they were, who want to embrace this time of change. And because those are the people that fit in with the mission that I've got on this planet, right? To truly help people to get unstuck, to find their purpose, and to be able to finally live a confident life out loud on their own terms, right? On their own terms, not the world's terms, not the media's terms, not having the body the media thinks you need to have, or the marketing, in that magazine, the cart thinks you need to have in order to be successful, the coffee you need to drink to be cool. Like, it's time for us to leave that and become more like.
I'm sorry. I'm really curious, because I never asked you this question. How did you find your purpose? How did you know this was for you?
Well, through the work. I know I keep saying that, and I love to call it me work.
Is it right?
So sitting and asking questions, and the Fire Up book, I can't believe it. It's 5 years old now, Maria. Can you believe that? I think that's when we first met. It was right after I wrote that. I feel like that's when we first met, was kind of when I was doing the book tour through all of the conferences. And in that book, there actually is an Uncovering Your Purpose chapter that goes through a series of questions. And here's the thing, when you're trying to uncover your purpose, it feels a little uncomfortable, because a lot of people think, am I going to do I need to sit in a weird yoga pose and, breathe through one nostril and, raise my hand and light a candle? Because it feels a little, it feels a little hokey, like woo woo, right? Ooh, my purpose. But the reality is we're all living our purpose in some way, shape, or form. Some of us, it might be more hidden than others, but we're here for a purpose. And so when I went through the process of uncovering my own, I realized I've been doing it since I was a child, and I've been doing it out loud. I just figured everyone else did it. And that is my purpose statement, which I believe we can say in 11 words or less. I love my 11s, is I fire people up. I fire people up. Now, that looks different in different seasons, Maria, and that's where I think people get stuck, right? When I was a kid, I used to be the friend who was always like, you got this. Like, you can jump off that swing and you are going to be amazing. Or you can tackle those monkey bars. I am telling you this, you can do it. I was empowering kids that were my own age on the playground at the age of 6, 7, 8, 9. And, you know, in high school, I was the connector between the different groups, saying we're all the same. We look different, but we're all together. We're all here in the same school. I mean, I had friends that were in every group.
Yes.
Right. And so I was always this connector and empowerer. Even back then, even as a teenager, same in college, same, you know, then I went into more in career. I was always attracted to leadership roles. And it wasn't because I was seeking them. It was because somebody was like, you need to be here. You need to be. And I remember my first manager role in retail. I was 24 years old, managing women who were all over the age of 40. And so most of these women were my mom's age. Mm. And I remember, I didn't think anything of it, but they did. They were like, who are you? Right. And how can you help us? And they realized, okay, she's got this. She's an old soul, or however they categorize you when you can lead somebody who's older than you, right? And now, as I go into that, as I get closer to being the sage, as I'm in my 40s and moving towards my 50s and my 60s, and God willing, into 100, as I'm taking on new roles, now it's, you know, women come to me and say, how do I do that? And so that's where I am now. I'm in the space where women who feel stuck, who get up every day and think, I know there's more. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure what it is, but I know there's something more for me. I know that this hamster wheel that I'm on is not the life I'm meant to live. And so how do I fix that? Those are the women that are coming to me now. I have no idea what it will be like in 10 years. I mean, I'm excited because I look back and I think all of those roles that filled my purpose so strongly and so full growing up have led me to where I am now. So where will they lead me next? Right?
Yes, your future is in your past.
Yes.
Everything that you've done before has made you who you are today. Right. And that's why where you are now is who you're meant to be. And this whole thing is going to blossom into a whole nother level.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And same for you. You know, I think that here's the reality is, one of the deep conversations that I go through, and I'm not sure what the base of your audience is, but obviously, you know, being the chief strategist for Woman Up and having the Power Women group, and I focus mainly on helping women step into that confident life, right? And so a lot of conversations I have with women about purpose is they truly believe their children are their purpose. And here is the thing, and ladies, lean in a little. Your children are not your purpose. They are a divine gift. They are a sometimes tenacious, rambunctious responsibility. They are a true blessing. However, they're not your purpose, because that would have meant you had no purpose before and you will have no purpose after they leave your home, which can't possibly be true. Now,
and it's very scary.
It's
very scary because that's why you see all the things that are happening with women, and they feel exasperated after the children leave, right? And now what am I going to do?
Yes.
Who am I?
Yes. And what happens is they put all of this pressure on themselves to be these Pinterest perfect moms doing, basically planning weddings for birthdays now. And it's go and it's do and it's be and it's spend and it's spend and it's spend to be this perfect mom that everyone else says I'm supposed to be because my kids are my purpose. When in reality, there are some moms who were meant to be Pinterest party moms. They are super creative. They value creativity. They value hosting and bringing people together. They love being all of the things that are related to being an event planner and that side of being a mom. And they love that Pinterest exists. But then there's other moms whose creativity does not involve a lot of other people. It involves sitting down with their child with a color book and coloring and painting and playing Play-Doh. And then there's moms who don't value creativity at all, but love organization. So their favorite time with their kids is about organizing, putting all the labels on all of the boxes and putting all of the Legos in the right spot and putting all of the dolls in the right spot and putting all of the trucks in the right spot. That's the time they live with their kids. And those values also are part of their purpose. So when our purpose and our values start to truly connect and align, those are the activities that fill us up even more, right? So it's interesting. People are like, I do talk about the fact that I am an ambivert that leans more towards being introvert, right? That means I am not somebody who likes to walk into a happy hour of strangers. I would not choose that. I would choose a party of 4 dinner any day over a big room of strangers. However, I'm more energized, one, being on stage in front of 5,000 people than being in a one-on-one conversation with someone who doesn't want to grow. And so I've learned where my value, where who I am as a person, energy wise, and my purpose, how to actually feed them appropriately. Because I've tried lots of things and gone, why doesn't that work? Why do I feel so exhausted after this? And asked the questions, right? And so we can do that now as when we're home. Who are the clients who you feel like every time they call, they kind of suck a little bit of your life? It's sad, but it's true. Or the clients who every time they call, you hit that button that says, I'm in a meeting.
Yeah.
I'll call you back later. Those are people who are out of alignment with who you are. They're out of alignment with your purpose and the things that you value. So I'll go back to that story that I shared earlier about how my first broker was like, first time home buyers. And how 6 months later, I was exhausted thinking, this is not the business for me. What am I doing here? Everyone thought I was going to be so great in real estate. And I actually this is sucking my life. Well, I realized that I was serving the wrong client, that I was wanting to hit the, I'll call you back later, and not wanting to call them back later, right? Having the dread, because I knew it was going to be the same questions that I asked for them yesterday and the day before and the day before, and that they weren't going to want to go see 14 more houses that didn't fit their criteria simply because they'd never done it, all these things. And once I shifted who I served, then almost every call was an exciting call. It was when my reload clients would come into town. It was so much fun. My husband was a recruiter. He was recruiting one of the spouses in. The other spouse would fly out. We'd spend, half of the day on Saturday looking at houses and seeing neighborhoods and having a nice lunch. And they decide where they wanted to live. It was boom. And that was perfect for me. It fed all of those things. And so you can do that work now too. Write a list of the 5 clients that you have loved doing business with, Maria. Like all of the people that you have loved doing business, write their names down and then write down why. Why did you love doing business with them? There are things that are going to ring right out loud. How they walked with you, how they responded to you, that they listened to you, whatever it is, write those things down and you're going to start to see those bubble up. And again, connect with the values work that you do when you download the values exercise, and your purpose will start to float to the top. Like for me, I loved helping people get very excited about their new lifestyle. Where were they going to be? Where were they going to go have coffee in the morning? Where were they going to, try out the churches that are in that area? Like getting them excited and igniting them about this new life they were about to start living. Not about the houses. It was never about the houses for me. It was about, I am helping them build a new chapter of their life. And doing that helped me tap into that purpose of firing people up, right? Some people who value different things and whose purpose is maybe teaching in a different way. They might love building and having new relationships. They might not have trouble with dealing with efficiency. They might not care about a 3 or 4 hour conversation. They love that. They're going to love working with a first-time home buyer. They're going to love driving through all of the neighborhoods and seeing all of the houses and answering all of the questions. It's going to rise to the top that fits their values and their purpose. It's such a beautiful exercise to go through.
Yeah.
And you're probably on the other side thinking, oh yeah, I know those clients.
I only work with certain types of clients. So I focus on people who make their money in real estate. So investors. So that's like business people. That's where I lie. That's where my skill set is. That's where working with other business people.
Yeah.
You know, whether they're looking for, to sell their home or they're investing in real estate, finding the solution for them.
Mm-hmm. And there are people who are listening, Maria, who are like, I would never want to work with an investor. Like they love the emotion of somebody walking in and going, oh, it smells like the house I grew up in, or like they want to have that emotional connection with people and their home purchase. And so working with investors is so far from their wheelhouse that they're kind of cringing. And you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, like all of the emotion that's involved in some of these discussions. It's like, take it out. Like, let's get down to business.
You know what's interesting? The people that we work with, a lot of these investors, they have families. They have to feed their families. There is emotion involved. It's a different type of emotion.
Yep.
But there's a very long-term and very deep relationships that's formed because I've been working with them for over a decade.
Yeah.
I talk to people now that are my friends because I've been working with them for 15 years, selling, either representing them on the buy or the sell or whatever.
Right.
And that's deep. That's like, I didn't sell you a house and not talk to you for 7 years. Like, right. I'm not your best friend anymore because we just closed on the property. I'm still your best friend because you're buying another one in 2 months.
Right. Well, you probably, when you go through the core values exercise, Maria, I'm guessing that there is a high level of making a difference in your value structure. And the long-term effects of working with investor clients really feeds that value of making a difference. It isn't a one and done or, two and done. It's a lifetime of making a difference with people. And here's the beauty of that is that once you actually define those core values, once you start making your decisions, the clients you work with, the networking events that you will eventually go back to, the volunteer opportunities you say yes to, once you start seeing your decisions go through that confidence compass, that filter, you realize at the end of the day that you can celebrate the fact that you lived aligned to your values, and that you get to the point where the people you work with are people you love and who love you, and who love your calls and whose calls you love. And whose, the future generations that come from their family, that there will be a connection between you and them as well, because you've created such a deep connection. And this is why the work is so important, because you start to recognize that you are honoring yourself with every choice you make. And when we honor ourselves and we get into times like this, like I said at the beginning, I enjoy my own company now. I wasn't always like that. I didn't always love hanging out with myself. I was filling it with other people and other things, and, an extra glass of wine here and staying out with friends later here. And now that I know who I am, I know whose I am, I know why I'm on this planet, it makes every decision clear and every day count. Every day count.
It certainly does. You're very inspiring. I love listening to you. Before we end, Debra, tell us about the book you're writing.
Well, so it's called Moxie on Fire. and which of course shocking, I know. And the last 5 years I've really been talking about how to fire it up. Right. And now this is really about keeping that moxie on fire. It's the next phase, if you will. So you can go to moxieonfire.com and sign up for updates when it's ready. I'm actually doing something a little different this time.
What are you doing?
So, well, a couple of things. So when I started writing the book, I wanted to write the book about some big bucket conversations, right? Self-talk, custom affirmations. I wanted to talk about the word just and how it's more of a 4-letter word than the F-bomb in our world. Like, I wanted to talk about these topics, and I realized that there are so many books out there that actually are like chapter books that talk about things like that I didn't want to put another book like that on the shelf. And so in 2019, when I decided that I wanted to do my next book, I realized I wanted it to be more of a coffee table book, right? Something that we keep in front of us, that we go to visit. And so what it is it's a compilation of 52 affirmations. So 52 positive self-talks that cover all of the topics that I wanted to cover. And
I love that.
And yeah, I'm really excited about it. So it has like it has an affirmation, and then it has these conversations between the two of us. So, right. So I'm speaking into my lioness pride in each one of those, saying, this, you may be feeling this might have happened, well, let's talk about those things. And then I help them with activating that self-talk, right? Some questions that will really get it into their soul. And I'm loving this process. I'm working with Molly McKinley of Intentionalities. I think you know Molly. I think you met her when we did the Woman Up, I Am Woman Up video series, right? Yes. So she's working with me. Beth Brandt, who is our designer, is helping us kind of pull all of my words and the ideas that I have into a beautiful, wait until you see the affirmation cards. Oh my gosh. They're so beautiful. It's like, I can't wait to physically hold them in my hands. But where it's even coming to now is each affirmation will have a number on it. So I'm going to have a separate card box and the book. And so if you simply want the affirmation cards, if you want to tuck those away, you can have the affirmations, but you can also go to the book for the deeper work. And so where Molly comes in is she's helping me put together an experience bundle, like a box. So it's not ordering a book. You order this Moxie on Fire kit, and there's a book, and there's the affirmation cards, and there's a journal for you to write things in. Molly made a special empowerment tea blend for the Moxie on Fire kits. There's a candle inside and some matches, and so it's
what a great gift for somebody,
right? And it's maybe yourself, hopefully yourself, right? That's the idea.
But it's also a really nice gift for somebody. That's really cool. What are you launching?
Well, things kind of shifted a little bit with everything going on. So we don't have a set launch date today. I'm hoping to know more in the next few weeks, but even like the people who do the printing aren't able to do the printing right now. Right. So there's, I'm taking this opportunity to go back, and even in the things that, we've created so far, is anything in there need to be refined, and using the time, not feeling sad or bad or mad about the pause button, but actually feeling grateful for it, because there's some things that have changed. I'm like, oh, let's try this instead. Let's call it this instead. And I think that even in the last 4 weeks, the book has gotten even better because of the great pause, because of this time to sit down and have conversations and look at, how would I use it? Where would I use it? Who would I give it to in a deeper way? And so it'll be out this year. It'll probably be closer to the holidays now, as opposed to, ideally we wanted it to be in for Mother's Day, but that's not happening. That's not happening. No one's shipping
No.
anything that has any metal in it anyways right now for the
Yeah, I don't
most
think
part.
that's not going to happen right now.
No, and I actually love the idea of it being a cue for, something for the holidays, something that we can bring as, as a next level idea, a way, because it's a collaboration. It isn't simply my book. It's this bundle of love and collaboration between three women. And I want to see so much more of that, Maria. I want to see so much more of that, us bringing all of our talents to the same place. We don't have to do it alone. Even though we're in our homes by ourselves, it doesn't mean we can't co-create and do great things. Molly and Beth and I are in 3 different time zones. We have 3 very different lives, and yet we're creating something beautiful together that I know is going to serve all the women who are in all of our lives collectively, which is why we're here, right? We're here in service of each other.
Your work. That is your life's work.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
Yay.
So inspired. I'm so inspired by this conversation. I'm taking, I'm going to re-listen to this. In 2 weeks, the podcast will be live because it's just all being set up.
Yeah.
But I'm going to re-listen to this weekend. And you've given us some really good information and some really nice little nuggets. And I hope that everybody that's listening and that's going to listen will take advantage of the app, the Pomodoro technique, and you go reading your Fire Up book, looking out for the next series, which is this amazing box. So once you do that, we'll do this again, or maybe we'll do it again before that. But
here's what I'll do. Here's what I'll do for your listeners in your world. I'll create a landing page that is debratrappen.com/be the solution. And I will put all of the links, all of the things that we talked about today, the core values exercise. I'm happy to, get that in your community's hands for free. I'll put the link to the Focus to Do app, and all of the other little things that we talked about today, and probably some other things. Knowing myself, there's probably other things that will bubble up to the top. Ooh, they would love this. Oh gosh, and so it'll be all in one spot. So
you're amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I am so grateful and blessed to have you in my life. And I thank you for taking this time. You took a lot of time today to speak with us. So I really, really appreciate you. And I really appreciate you being the solution. You've been doing that for a long time. And I am really excited for your next thing and to see it all come out. I can't wait to get mine.
Yay. Wonderful. Well, I've enjoyed this conversation as well. And I appreciate what you're doing here with Be the Solution. I love the focus on being the solution, not what the problems are. So kudos to you. I love seeing and feeling this new energy from you as well. You're doing the work. So congratulations on that, Maria. Congratulations.
I really appreciate it. Thanks, Debra. Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.